This is Bob Hill, proud member of Botanica, and our big vision, of course, and we're getting very close, is to build a 27-acre botanic garden along River Road in Louisville. But to get us started, we're going to put a 2,300 square foot garden at the Heigold facade where Frankfort Avenue meets River Road. Yeah, to catch you up, the Heigold house used to sit along the Ohio River in Louisville. It was moved to its present location to preserve the facade. Heigold immigrated to Louisville in 1857 and became a prominent businessman. And they saved his facade of the house, and now we're going to make it even better by putting in the garden. And Karen Bohannon is going to help us. Karen's a longtime friend of mine. She's a passionate gardener, knows a great deal about landscape design. So Karen, tell us what inspired you? How did you get started in this?
When I started thinking about it, when you were nice enough to ask me to design it, I started thinking, well, what did Christian see before he left Germany? What were the gardens that he would have seen and that would come with him when he comes to the United States? Well, frankly, it was, you know, the main one back then was one that was done in the Baroque style back in the late 1600s. And this is very, very formal, very, very rectangular, squares, only a couple circles. That's what he would have seen before he came here. He came to the U.S. and immediately embraced everything American. So some of the movements in America, plant-wise, that were going on, or design-wise, came from England.
Right.
And a wonderful man I fell in love with, Andrew Jackson Downing, was part of a movement, Capability Brown style, and it's where you took things in nature and you thought of it as a photograph, or a picture, something that just all inspired you. And he wanted to recreate that flowing atmosphere, the flowing atmosphere of the design, and make it look more natural. So even though what Christian Heigold saw as far as gardening was concerned in his day in Germany, that was very linear, what he came and embraced in America was something different.
Okay, Karen, let's shift to the front yard, which has an appeal all its own. You come off River Road and you turn down Frankfort. And by the way, the 20-some acre botanic garden is going to be right here. So yeah, right here it's going to flow down to Beargrass Creek. It's going to be fabulous. But again, that's the next phase. But for now, we're going to talk about what people can expect to see, or will see, when they come in from the front off Frankfort Avenue. So again, it looks like a cobblestone entrance, which is a great tie-in to Louisville history and everything else. So pick it up from there.
Okay. Well, they would have come off of cobblestones, and then just, if we continue, cobblestones or bricks coming in off onto the walkway, that would be wonderful. We have fencing here with a gate because we want it to look more like a home, like it was.
Yeah.
We took into consideration the plants that would be, on all of it, the plants that would be available in the 1850s or before.
Right.
So that being said, neighborhood houses, especially in the Point where this was located, it was called the Point in Louisville, they had lovely fencing and then the little yard in front.
And then what are these flowers here? Take us through the whole thing.
The white part around the edges that you really can't see are candy tuft, Iberis candy
Beautiful
tuft.
white spring flower.
Absolutely.
Pure white spring flower.
And then they turn green for the rest of the summer, so you don't have to worry about that. The next plant in is going to be daylilies. I'd like to keep it like a true yellow, not a gold, and maybe some pinks. So as you walk in, you'll have the candy tuft first, and then the daylilies, and then a little bit of the formality from the Herrenhausen house, or
the old German
house, castle, gardens, and so boxwoods coming in just to frame it, but then it's such a small area, I didn't continue it around. This is a real low time that will let us look into the garden more, and it'll make it look a little bit bigger. But then to make it look longer, I picked the boxwoods back up, and they come around here. The boxwoods, I want to mention that for a moment, because what he would have seen growing up would have been very formal gardens, and boxwoods were a big part of that. On either side here, it would be wonderful to have a rose on a standard. Roses would have been in every garden.
That's a rose on a stick, basically.
Right.
It's like 4 feet off the ground. With
tree rose, yeah.
I think you were talking yellow, maybe?
Yes, yellow would be my first. It's not as vigorous as the pink or red, but the knockout is what I'd love to see, and they make wonderful ones on standards.
And they blend with anything in the rest of the garden. It'd be terrific.
Oh, it would. And then just beyond it, for this purple element, I actually had down cotinus, which is a smoke tree. But as I look and look and look, and then see how small the area is that we're actually dealing with here, it would really be wonderful if we could switch that same color, but into the Physocarpus Little Devil. It's going to stay smaller. They're not going to have to prune it as often, if at all, because it's a dwarf variety of Physocarpus. Something I'm really excited about are here and here, and they are slender silhouette sweet gums.
Oh, yeah.
Big columns,
Right.
lovely leaves in the summer, and then if the weather's right, wonderful gold color in the fall. But that while they'll get tall, they don't get wide at all.
Right.
And, well, I mean, you grow them at Hidden Hill.
Yeah, it'll give a real perspective to it. It'll give a sense of depth, because you have these two trees on both sides of the house where you might expect them, but they're suited for the city culture and the traffic and so forth coming by.
Right, we don't want to obscure traffic.
Yeah.
And so, yes, and sweet gums are native.
Yeah.
This is just a cultivar that fits our needs better. Many of the plants that they had as natives or that came in at that particular time in the 1850s, they would be way too large to use in an area this size. So what we're wanting to do is to take that same genus species and use a cultivar of it that is more controllable as far as height and width. On the outside of the trees, something to bring the height back down, tie it back into the road area, are Baptisia. And they are native plants as well. Beautiful blue, purple blooms in the spring, and they just look lovely after that as well. And then on the inside, again, we wanted to go from, these are miniature boxwoods. We wanted to raise the height.
Right.
These are peonies, but they're not just any peonies like your great-great-grandma would have had.
Right.
These are intersectional peonies. These are cutting-edge peonies. These are a wonderful oak leaf hydrangea called Ruby Slippers.
Oh, yeah.
Blooms pink,
Yeah.
but it stays nice and low, not as big as the gorgeous, like snowflake hydrangeas.
There's some winter interest there too sometimes with
Absolutely.
the botanicals on there. Yeah.
And the fall interest, because oak leaf hydrangeas have lovely fall
Oh,
color.
yeah, scarlet, red, it's terrific.
And then we have lavender here. Lavender Munstead, that's another really fine old-time plant. And then here's Stacky, which is lamb's ear. Lamb's ear came a long time ago, and a wonderful silver, low, change in texture.
Yep, and it's a tough plant.
Right, and the cultivar Helen von Stein doesn't bloom as much as the other, so there's less cutting back. And then these are phlox, and the phlox would have been here back. They're native as well.
These are the taller ones, or the?
These are tall garden phlox,
Okay,
like David or David's lavender, which are new cultivars
Right.
that are more disease resistant.
So I know you've done a terrific amount of work on this. It's really neat. This is the backyard of the Heigold house, and let's talk about what we're going to put in here, we being you.
Well, when you walk, these are busy streets here and here, so you'll have to be careful on gaining access. But when you come around, and you'll see on your left-hand side where we're recreating some prairie-esque views. They would have only cultivated so far back. on their house, close to the house, and then within a quarter mile is usually what the books all said. And then beyond that, you would have your native woods or grasslands.
Oh, okay.
They would just leave it that. So we're recreating that by using different grasses. And the grasses, for instance, are the blue fescue, the little blue stem.
Bright blue.
Right.
Little blue stem is a native with great fall color.
Yes, it is. Lovely fall color.
Right.
And then we're going to bring some of the muhlenbergia, pink muhly grass in here for a different color. We have other plants. We have bee balm in here. Monarda is the common name. And we have goldenrod, but we're not going to use the big showy goldenrod. We're going to use a smaller one, probably Fireworks.
Oh.
That's about 3 feet tall and absolutely lovely.
And perfectly named, looks like fireworks. Golden explosions, yeah.
And so a fall color here, summer color here, the purple coneflower there, and whether we use the actual purple coneflower native or continue to or change it to Kim's knee-high remains to be seen.
Okay.
And the
these are trees here, looks like. 2 big trees, huh?
Yeah, Amelanker and Cercis, which serviceberry and redbud.
Blooms early in the spring, beautiful white flowers, and then the red berries in the fall. The birds like those, actually.
They're blue berries on these.
And then the redbud is?
It blooms lovely purple in the spring, and then this particular variety, it's called Merlot, and it has wonderful red-purple leaves. Just lovely. Up against the house, we're going to have, you can't really see it here, but the red twig dogwood and the yellow twig dogwood. And we have pictures of the red twig here and then the yellow twig there.
It's winter color.
Right, wonderful, wonderful winter color. And other than that, they're just green. So it's a nice green. Hedge to hide, again, the medallion that it sits on, because it's 4 feet tall, the medallion is.
What was in the center here? We talking about that?
Well, we have roses in the center, and this going to a circle was a big thing that was not used very often until the 1850s.
Okay.
And so we have roses in the middle, which was quite normal for that time, but we want to go with the knockout rainbow rose.
Oh, yeah, it's a multicolored.
Right.
Yeah.
And so lots of interest.
That'd be beautiful.
And not much in the way of taking care of it. And it's not as vigorous as the red.
You get a wide path through this so people can...
4 foot wide so that people can walk through holding hands.
Right.
The front also has a 4 foot wide path.
Right.
These are mums coming down here. Harmony would be wonderful if we could get harmony. And then we have leucanthemum, which is like a daisy.
It's the white flower.
But it's yellow flower. So banana cream.
Oh yeah, right.
Or what is the other one? Broadway lights.
Right.
Either one of them are beautiful, beautiful yellow. And then we have coreopsis around it. Right. And it's the threadleaf form of coreopsis.
So it'll be a little lower.
Right. Yeah, so it's tall, medium, and lower.
Exactly. And it holds that beautiful green foliage too.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And then up here we have Amsonia hubrecti.
Oh, my favorite perennial.
Oh, I know. And it blooms wonderfully. It's an herbaceous perennial. It dies to the ground in the winter. Yeah. So you'll see all of the twig effect, the colored twig effect.
Well, yeah, it blooms blue, and then it has this beautiful gold foliage.
Right.
Just this whole flow, gold foliage.
Well, yeah, it's green, and then in the fall it turns gold. So it's just lovely.
And then you cut it down, and the red twigs and the yellow twigs will pop up.
Right.
Good planning.
Here and here, I have mondo grass, which is to imitate lawn. Lawn was hard to come by back then. Okay. Actual cut lawn. Right. It served no real purpose other than to show that, you know, you had plenty of land. You didn't need all the land to have your vegetable garden on. Right. But there's no maintenance to it. other than trimming it once a year in winter or late fall.
What color is the mondo grass?
It's a bluish color
Okay.
as well, and it only grows a certain, length and stops, so there would be no weekly maintenance.
So just an incredible color palette we've got back here.
That's what we're hoping for. And then under here, hellebores
Wow.
and heucheras under planting again.
And hellebores bloom February, March, or even earlier sometimes.
Right, it's as early as January, depending on the weather, and blooms all the way through May.
Right.
And then the heucheras, that will be the colored variety. I would like to see either Georgia peach or citronelle. They're very different as far as colors go, but they will add color underneath the tree when it's just more of the red-green in the summer.
And the foliage holds
all year.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Karen, your passion and excitement about this equals the rest of us, and we just want to thank you so much for being part of this, and we're looking forward to getting this planted and getting people out there.
Thanks.
Yeah.